Hello everyone, my name is Bradley and this is Sumsub, a channel on how to survive in the online jungle. We believe with our eyes. You can write a long article about something, but it will be less convincing than a short note with a bright photo, because photos speak louder than any words. Now, we also share them more often and discuss them more. That's why any really amazing photos should be treated with absolute caution. If you think that fake photos are an achievement of modern technologies, then you are deeply mistaken. The first edited images appeared almost simultaneously with the appearance of photos themselves. Look at this portrait of Abraham Lincoln. This image was published by William Pate in 1865, almost immediately after the assassination of the 16th President of the United States. The portrait became incredibly popular and sold thousands of copies across the country. And only 100 years later, the photographer and writer Stephen Laurent noticed a very strange thing. A large mole on the president's cheek turned out to be on the wrong side of his face. Laurent compared the image with other photos of Lincoln and came to the conclusion that the president's face was cut from a picture of Anthony Berger, which was taken a year earlier. This portrait is probably quite well known to you. Well, because until 1999 it was printed on every single $5 bill. Now, this discovery inspired Laurent to continue the investigation, and soon he found the original image in the Library of Congress. It turned out that the artist had superimposed the president's face onto a portrait of John Calhoun, which he had done 10 years earlier. I doubt very much that Lincoln would have liked it. I mean, Calhoun was a zealous supporter of the preservation of slavery, and he often expressed very racist viewpoints. Now, the artist had to flip the president's face over to fit Calhoun's heroic pose, and this is how one of the most famous portraits of Lincoln appeared. This technique is actually used even now. For example, a photo of John Lennon seemingly playing the guitar with Ernesto Che Guevara was actually edited in this way, which did make quite a ruckus. In fact, the face of the Cuban revolutionary was superimposed on the head of Wayne Gabriel, the guitarist from Elephant's Memories. Now, this edit quickly spread around the web, and still often pops up in articles regarding the rebellious spirit of John Lennon. And people are not even thrown off by the fact that Che Guevara was killed in 1967. Lennon was much younger then than he looks in the picture. Comparison and fact-checking helps to identify such fakes. It's enough to find photos of John Lennon at that time, and everything then just falls into place. That image of Lennon with Che Guevara eventually came from the early 70s. This search also brings us to another famous fake. You might have seen this before. Albert Einstein riding a bicycle against the background of an exploding atomic bomb. Seems pretty unlikely. But all you have to do is just search for Albert Einstein riding a bike, and immediately you'll find the original photo of the great scientist. It turns out that this picture was actually taken back in 1933, which is actually 12 years before the first explosion of the atomic bomb. But finding a picture that served as the background for this installation is a little more difficult. Ordinary search queries, for example, atomic bomb tests, will give too many different images. It takes too long to just look through them one by one, much like Laurent did when he was looking for a portrait of Lincoln. That's why I'm cheating here a bit. I'll cut out a fragment and I'll try to actually run this through TinEye. This is actually called reverse image searching. I chose a fragment with people sitting to the left of Einstein. This includes more noticeable details and it has a higher contrast, well, when we compare the crowd on the right. Of course, the suspicious part of the photo should not get into the search fragment, otherwise the search engine will give me links to, well, just fake pictures, which I don't want. Well, TinEye did not disappoint. After a couple of seconds, I learned that this photo, of the explosion was taken in 1962 at a landfill in Nevada. This explains the presence of the audience in the frame. The test site was located near Las Vegas, and casino visitors were actually offered excursions to visit the nuclear bomb test. Amazing, isn't it? This photo that you see right now appeared a few days after the September the 11th terrorist attack.
Oh, there's another one. Another plane just hit. Right. Oh my God. Another plane has just hit. It hit another building. Flew right into the middle of it.
Just get back.
The description claimed that the picture was taken by a camera that the rescuers had recovered from the wreckage of the World Trade Center. The photo quickly became a sensation, and it went viral, despite the fact that the model of the Boeing was completely wrong. I mean, the 757 instead of the 767. But first, journalists found a photo of the plane that was used for this edit, and then, of course, the author himself confessed. Peter Guzli took the original picture on the observation deck of the World Trade Center 4 years before the terrorist attack. And then the young guy decided to play a prank on his friends and added the first plane he saw to the old photo. The joke quickly spread throughout the web, and many took it at face value. Anyway, sometimes additional images are not actually needed for the edit to take place. The necessary fragments are actually taken from the same image, and they're put together as a mosaic, effectively. This isn't always easy to detect, so there are actually special services for detecting these kinds of fakes. Take a look at this photo, for instance. It shows the test of the Iranian Missiles missiles. It looks quite threatening, right? But the reality is kind of different. Let's check this picture for traces of editing. To do that, I'm going to upload the file to the online service called Forensic. In the clone search mode, it becomes clear that the launch of the third rocket was fabricated from fragments of others in the picture. Now, these pink lines show the places in the picture that are the same. They're not just similar, but literally repeat themselves with pixel accuracy. In fact, the actual launch looked like this. The picture on the right was published later, and then the whole world was laughing at Iranian journalists. The same technology is used to search for fakes of, let's say, invoices or bank documents. I mean, if there are absolutely identical errors in the photo, then it means that there was some kind of cloning involved. The noise of the camera matrix and the features of the JPEG photo format itself exclude the possibility of accidental coincidences, right? Sometimes photographers face a different task. Not to add something new, but to actually remove it altogether. Moreover, people learned how to edit photos like this long before the advent of computers. My fellow historian and writer David King wrote one of the most sinister books that has ever fallen into my hands, and it's called The Commissar Vanishes, the falsification of photographs and art in Stalin's Russia. Now, in it, he collected samples of how Stalin's enemies just disappeared. They disappeared in the literal sense of the word, but also disappeared from photos. I mean, just take a look at this photo. There are 4, then 3, then 2, and then finally there's just Stalin. Do you notice how the background changes in the place of the disappearing people? Well, for these pictures, they were literally scraped off of the film, and then the background was finished. Now, this is clearly the finest and most precious of work. But now it's much easier to do this than before. We encounter erasing tools no less often than we do copying tools, but the background in the place of the disappeared objects is still able to play a cruel joke nevertheless. Take a look at this Rolling Stones CD cover. Nothing suspicious, right? Just a concert photo. Take a closer look at the lower part of the microphone stand. You'll see to the left of it, there's actually a wire that disappears behind the neck of Mick Jagger's guitar. A trifle? Well, in fact, this is all that remains of the bass guitarist Bill Wyman. He played with the band as a session musician for 30 years, but he was never officially a member of the Rolling Stones. Therefore, the producers simply erased him from the cover. The solution is in the spirit of Stalin, don't you think? And now, let's try to determine fakes with the help of mathematics. Can you guess what's missing from this edited photo of Martin Luther King? Well, I'm going to upload this photo to Forensically and use a different edit search mode. It's called error level analysis. Now, it's based on the features of the photo compression algorithm. Every time you save a photo as a .jpeg, the format editor makes a lot of calculations. It breaks the image into small blocks and then simplifies them, replacing a large amount of information about each point with the results of mathematical processing, so to speak. Therefore, JPEGs take up much less space than uncompressed, say, .bmp or .raw files. But we're not going to go into the subtleties of the algorithm. The main thing is to understand that each save you make adds characteristic noise and compression errors. If the photo is not edited, such errors will look familiar. But changes have been made, and therefore the nature of the errors change. You can see straight away an anomaly between the thumb and the middle finger. You see, the errors around the fingers are clearly heterogeneous. It feels like someone has walked over it, basically with an eraser. So through TinEye, I found the original image, which really confirmed my assumption. Some joker on the internet really erased the index finger from King's hand, but they clearly didn't expect me to use the error level analysis method. Now, this is how the unedited photo should look. In fact, error level analysis is a powerful tool for finding fakes. If you're interested in this tool, I recommend that you take a training course on the website of another online service for detecting fake photos called FotoForensics.com. Now, I was particularly impressed by this example. If someone had asked me what was suspicious about this photo, I would have answered that it was probably the VR helmet on the tube, right? But in fact, the author of the photo himself drew a completely different object. The analysis shows that there was no mask on that guy in the photo. I definitely wouldn't have guessed it before. Of course, error level analysis isn't the only algorithm for finding edits. Other algorithms also help to identify fake. For example, noise analysis can point out inserted objects through looking at the differences in noise density. Luminance gradient determines the direction of the lighting sources for every object within the image, and if they don't match, well, it's a good indication that you're looking at a fake. Systems for the automatic detection of forged documents are built based on these very algorithms. Remember, we tested them out in one of the first videos. Well, think about how such a system looks at your passport, very much in the same way that we saw King's photo. In general, even if you're not going to become a forensic expert, understanding the principles of digital editing analysis will help you to identify fake, even by eye. Before the advent of personal computers, photo editing remained to be only really a professional gig, right? But today, any student can launch a viral image, a few mouse movements, and you've got yourself another sensation, right? Could be shots of a falling plane, a shark on the highway, or a castle on a rock in Thailand. Fake photos are used everywhere in advertising, political struggles, and even environmental campaigning. But how can you avoid the bait of information scammers? Well, just be critical of any information you see. If you see something that's sensational, think about whether it violates the laws of physics or known facts. Look for photos of the same event from other sources and evaluate their sort of correspondence with one another. Now, if you've been sent an important document, let's say a large invoice or a suspicious receipt, don't be lazy. Check it for cloning elements. Pay attention to the details. Disappearing wires, curved walls, unusual shadows, or unusual reflections. These are all great reasons to doubt the authenticity of the picture that you're looking at. Now, if the photo raises doubts or seems vaguely familiar, try to find individual parts of it. Stock images are used in a lot of these kind of edits, right? Search for fragments via Google, or TinEye is a good one, we've talked about that. And finally, if your doubts haven't disappeared, check the photo through FotoForensics or Forensically. This will require some effort on your part, but in the eyes of your friends, you'll look like a real forensic expert. Basically, don't believe your eyes. They'll sometimes trick you. Unless, of course, you're watching the Sumsub channel with Bradley as your host. Everything we do here is honest. So as I said, my name is Bradley. I hope you've enjoyed another perilous, prickly, and perky journey through the deep, dark depths of the online jungle, and I will see you soon.